Before the video begins, I just want to thank everyone who helped get my channel to 1,000 subscribers. This seemed like an impossible goal for a long time, but after 10 years of being on this site, it finally happened. So thank you all for your support. I appreciate it a lot, and I hope to continue producing good content like this. Now on to the video. Good old SpongeBob. I'm just kidding. You all know who SpongeBob is by now, I'd hope. SpongeBob has appeared in lots of different media over the years due to his popularity. A lot of TV shows and movies have made an effort to include the loudmouth sponge somewhere in their production.
But how can you be pregnant? You said you had a sponge in your... Oh, you meant me.
Anyways, of course he appeared in Cartoon Network's Mad, in fact a number of times, and that's what we'll be talking about today. I already explained what Mad was in my Sonic in Mad video, so if you want to know, I've linked that video in the description. Since everyone liked that video, I'm doing this one. Without further ado, let's begin. I'll be grouping the smaller cameos into one category as they weren't big or relevant enough to have their own section, so for now, I'll just do a quick lightning round for the smaller appearances. Here we go. SpongeBob appears in the Mad opening. He has ears. In the recurring short, Celebrities Without Their Makeup, SpongeBob turns out to be a fruitcake. That sounded very weird. In the short Fart or Chair, SpongeBob is seen sitting in a massage chair. Big Bird turns into SpongeBob in Clifford Field. In the segment Law and Ogre, he appears in a framed photo in the background. Both he and Patrick appear on a blimp in iChronicle. He appears as a parade float in the Blender Games. And he appears wearing a toga outfit in Who Wore It Better. Apparently, he also appears in a skit called Celebrity Birthdays, but I could not find any footage of that one online. So that was all of his minor appearances, but now I'll dive into his more prominent roles throughout the show. Without any more delays, let's jump right into it. Here's a crossover that only Mad could come up with. In this segment, SpongeBob is parodied along with Star Trek. This is a pretty strange idea for a parody, but I suppose it worked. Still better than Triangle Bob Triangle Pants over here. Anyways, on to the next one. In the 12th episode of the 3rd season, there was a segment titled Taking Nemo, which parodies Finding Nemo and Taken. The main plot of this segment is that Nemo has gone missing and it's up to Liam Neeson, someone who's been parodied more than once on this show, to figure out who done it. After beating the absolute tar out of various characters, including Flounder from The Little Mermaid, he is then directed to a potential culprit, who turns out to be SpongeBob.
This is the best day ever!
He's immediately questioned by Liam Neeson, only for him to be found innocent. SpongeBob, like most characters in Mad, was voiced by Kevin Shinick, and Kevin voices him in most of his appearances.
Have you caught a fish called Nemo lately?
Nemo? How would I know? Wait a second, how are you breathing down here?
Usually when logic is applied to SpongeBob, something goes wrong. I expected Liam to start drowning there. I also like how they try to emulate SpongeBob's house and the backgrounds without directly copying it.
He's lucky he left. I would have taken care of...
And that's how I got this black eye.
This is another funny parody of SpongeBob, and it's just a funny segment altogether. Let's move on to the next one. Once again, The Little Mermaid is involved in a segment with SpongeBob. In the 25th episode of Season 2, a segment aired titled New Gill, which is a parody of the sitcom New Girl, and of course The Little Mermaid. After getting absolutely cucked by Ursula and Prince Eric, Ariel ends up staying with these 3 guys while she tries to get back into the dating scene. I've never watched New Girl, so I wasn't familiar with any of the characters. At the Krusty Krab of all places, Ariel tries out a few potential dates, including Marlin, Aquaman, and our guy, SpongeBob.
I haven't even said anything yet.
It's always funny hearing someone try to imitate SpongeBob's laugh. You can tell Kevin Shinick was trying his best. SpongeBob himself has an interesting design, now sporting blue pants and a bow tie, which is a common thing you will see with his appearances. I like this design. The animation in this segment is actually pretty good, and I swear I've seen this art style somewhere else, I just don't know where. A nice cameo that I guess fits in with the theme of underwater characters. On to the next one. Next to celebrities, Mad loved to parody superheroes, and in this segment we get a cross between Batman and Night at the Museum Battle of the Smithsonian. What basically happens is Batman investigates the museum only to find out that everything inside of the museum is alive. This includes everything on display. There's a ton of references and appearances from different IPs in this segment, including Dora, The Simpsons, iCarly, Sesame Street, a few sitcoms, and many more. Of course, this wouldn't be complete without SpongeBob. Using the same design as he did in Taking Nemo, he actually appears a lot in this segment. Ultimately, everyone has to team up to try and stop the Riddler, until they explode.
Sure that as long as they're willing...
I remember seeing this episode as a kid and being completely weirded out by the random cameos. Not much else to say here, just another fun segment. Anyways, on to the next one. I know this entry is very short, but I found it more interesting than the ones I listed during the lightning round. There was a very weird parody called... which I can't even really explain. You just have to watch it and try and figure out what to make of it. However, at the very end of this segment, there's a little SpongeBob cameo, or as he's known here, Sponge Roberto Squarepants. Now this art style might look familiar to some of you. Remember that show called El Tigre? That show, and this segment, were done by the same animator, Jorge Gutierrez. It's cool to see that he was still making stuff after El Tigre was cancelled. Yet another interesting appearance. Let's keep going. In the 5th episode of Season 1, we get a segment called Wall-E-Nator. This is the crossover parody between Wall-E and the Terminator. Basically, Wall-E goes on a rampage and cubes anybody who doesn't throw away their garbage. If only we had that in real life. Well, you know what? We probably will with all the AI crap nowadays. Anyways, we then see Big Back SpongeBob after eating too many Krabby Patties. Once again, using that same design. Why does this design never have his shoes? Wall-E decides to help him out with his troubles.
Oh, that's better.
Only SpongeBob would benefit from being cubed. There's a few other cameos too, but SpongeBob stood out the most to me. Another funny cameo for SpongeBob. On to the last entry. This is the segment that I'm sure most people think of when it comes to SpongeBob and Mad. The famous SpongeWow ad. Parodying ShamWow, a puppet named Vance introduced a brand new cleaning product called SpongeWow. He proceeds to absolutely destroy this poor sponge. Like, the sponge didn't even know this was a commercial, he thought this was a party. And apparently he's allergic to hot sauce. I'm not even sure what you would do at that point, I would probably just die. The hot sauce wasn't even approved by the FDA, God knows if that was even hot sauce.
Problem for SpongeWow.
Speak for yourself, it's burning!
Did you know the average person spends up to $900 a week on napkins?
That's a lie!
But for just $19.99, you get a SpongeWow you can use over and over again.
Kill me now.
But jokes aside, I really like the use of the puppets rather than the standard animation. This is the first time we saw a puppet of anything SpongeBob related in a long time. The insanity of this segment just makes it entertaining to watch. There's also a Muppet character called the Moppet, who suffers a similar fate to SpongeBob.
Hey kids, someone having a birthday? Run!
Get back here! The SpongeWow and Moppet, available where unsuspecting kids characters hang out.
This is among the most well-known segments from Mad, and it's not hard to see why. And that about wraps up all of SpongeBob's appearances in Mad. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed what you just watched. Be sure to also check out my official TeePublic merch store and check out my artwork. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.